Just finished watching the first episode of Tales from the Loop. It is a new show on Amazon. It's got a lot of mystery, and I don't quite totally know what's going on after episode one, but it's definitely intriguing, and I'm interested to kind of see where this goes. I honestly have no clue. So the show is based in Mercer, Ohio, and revolves around the events and the research happening at the Mercer Center for Experimental Physics. Our first episode kind of introduces us to the basics of what's going on in the show. There's this thing called the Eclipse. It is the item or object that's being researched at the MCEP, which we see quite often in the first episode. Not really talked about that much, but obviously going to be something that's a focal point for the season. So this episode revolves around the story of this little girl named Loretta, who basically goes in to take the trash out and comes back, and her house is gone, her mom is gone, and all she has is this little rock that her mother had taken from MCEP. She had stolen a piece of the Eclipse. So this story, we kind of start to see things unfold as the episode progresses, and eventually figure out that the little young Loretta isn't in the right time period and is in the future, and the little boy that she is walking around with exploring Mercer, Ohio, while she looks for her mother Alma, is in fact her son. So we find out that there's young Loretta, old Loretta, and the young Loretta is basically complaining about how her mother, wasn't that interested in her, didn't want to be a mother. And then we see this Cole like saying the same things, the same parallels. So it's kind of like this little story where the mother's repeating the mistakes of her mother, and even though that she knew that this event had happened and didn't want to become her mother. So it was kind of like a realization for old Loretta that maybe she needed to change her ways a little bit. So totally unclear where this show goes from here, or what's gonna go on. I believe that it is a story throughout the season, that it's not just one-offs. So if you're worried about this just being a series of very confusing one-offs, I don't think that's what this series is. But that's about it for episode one. Like I said, lots of mystery going on. We've got robots in the world which are being treated as like wild animals escaped from somewhere. Don't really know what the Eclipse is or what exactly they're doing at the Mercer Center for Experimental Physics. And yeah, it should be interesting. It's just a kind of very intriguing show to dive into for the weekend. So I'm going to go watch episode 2 now, and I'll be back later. So yeah, we'll see you.